Pokemon is a big franchise, and there's a very good reason for that. The games are, quite frankly, just a lot of fun. And you can collect and train and battle your own Pokemon. And as the years go by, they've made each generation unique by adding more and more to the battle system until the thing we have today is very complex to a great deal. There's a lot into it. The special physical split, all the terrain, different bonuses, and weather effects and Pokemon effects and stuff. So it's quite an interesting battle system. That's why I just decided to make a video that would show off some Pokemon moves that I would like to see in the future. So have a look and enjoy. The first new move I have is probably the least interesting one, and that's just a really strong Dark type move. So far, the strongest Dark type move we have, I believe, is Foul Play, which actually takes the stats of the Pokemon you're fighting against into account. So I don't feel there's any good hard-hitting Dark move out there. So I'd give a Dark move with maybe 110, 120 power that reduces speed when used. I just think Dark kind of missing out as a type. I know it's meant to be more status kind of tricking based, but I still think Dark needs kind of a strong punch, powerful attack. The next attack is called Shuffle. This is like Whirlwind, except it happens to the allied Pokemon as well. In a triple battle or double battle, it'll happen to all Pokemon. Basically, every Pokemon gets under the effects of Whirlwind or Roar and gets shifted out for another random Pokemon in the party. This kind of I imagine this could really shift the dynamic of a battle entirely, since even the person who's using it doesn't know what kind of effects it's going to have on them, positively or negatively. And it's always great to have more attacks to get rid of huge buffs. Number 8 is a move that's somewhat like Trick Room. I'm calling it Pandemic Field, although I think I can get a better name than that. It will reverse all healing effects in the game except for used items. This includes leftovers, leech seed, recover, poison heal, all stuff like that. We're going to do damage to your Pokemon instead of healing them. But items used from your bag like max potions will still heal things normally. Number 7 is a move called Nullify. The basic idea behind this move is that it will reset everything in the match, so it looks as if the match has just started. It's going to remove buffs, debuffs, the terrain effects, weather effects, entry hazards, counts and stuff like Parasong. The only thing that's going to remain the same is the Pokemon's health and any major status effects like Burn or Paralyze. This is also like a clearing the field type move, like what I had with the Switch Shuffle. The idea is it's just kind of, if your enemy has an advantage, you just use it to bring everything back to neutral. Number 6 is Spirit Link. This is an attack I can imagine Wobbuffet learning, as it's quite similar to Counter and Mirror Code, except it deals exact damage to the opposing Pokemon as the damage your Pokemon takes, instead of doing double the damage. So it's not as powerful as Mirror Code or Counter, yet you don't have to take into account a physical or special attack. There's no predicting your part, and it'll also be used for non-attack based things like getting hit by hail or leech seed or poison. Another thing about it is that it works a bit like Destiny Bond, is that when you use it, it lasts until the next time you use an attack. So it's kind of a little more versatile than Counter and Mirror Code without having the same amount of power. This next one isn't all that interesting. I probably would have put it lower on my list if I actually cared about the ordering of any of these moves. I like all these moves really. But anyway, number 5 is Sure Strike. This is an increased priority move that is certain to hit, because I don't think we actually have one of them in Pokemon yet. And it's just something I'd like to see. So it'll be like a fusion of Quick Attack and Swift, to use the Gen 1 examples. I'd say about 60 power and just increased priority and perfect accuracy. It's like I said, it's pretty boring. Gen 6 kind of made up my number 4 attack already. They introduced an attack called Freeze Dry, which is a water type attack, super effective against ice. But I'd like to see something similar except for the starting trio of types: fire, water, grass. Like an attack that is good against the resisting element of all three of those. Something like Overwater or Fire Lily or something like that. Just, I think it would be like throwing a nice dynamic to the starting kind of elements. Number 3 is called Lightning Circuit. It's an electric type attack based on completing circuits in electricity. So to translate that, the more targets it hits, the more damage it's going to do. So it's in a single battle, it's just a relatively weak 40 power electric attack. But in a triple battle, if you're hitting all 3 of your opponents, it's going to do 120 damage. 40, 80, 120. And in a horde battle, it can do tons of damage. However, if your opponent has an Earth Pokemon or uses a Protect something, then it breaks the circuit and you deal less damage. So the more targets you hit, the more damage you're going to do. Now, I already mentioned that despite this being labelled a top 10, I don't really care about the order of much of these, but this particular move I do actually really like, so it deserves to be number 2 spot. It's called Starry Night. It's a weather move or weather condition for fairy type Pokemon. And unlike Sandstorm or Rain Dance, which power up moves or damage Pokemon, the only thing Starry Night does is heal fairy type Pokemon. So I don't know, I just think that's pretty cool. I know they kind of already did something a bit like that with Grassy Terrain that heals all ground type Pokemon. But I still think they could implement Starry Night. I really like weather conditions as an idea. And then you could have a Pokemon whose ability is to bring in Starry Night. I don't know, I can't really explain it. I just really like the idea of having a fairy type weather condition that heals Pokemon. Number 1 is called Energy Fall. It's a bit like Perish Song in the fact that you use the attack and 3 turns later it comes into effect, except unlike Perish Song you can't swap out to avoid it. After 3 turns after being used, it's going to damage all Pokemon in the field regardless of who was there when it was initially used. And it does about 200 base power, and you can't avoid it by flying or using Protect or Detect, but you can avoid it by using Dig or Dive. Bounce also won't avoid it. The thing is, it takes 3 turns, and at the end of each turn it tells you how far away the energy is. You like shoot it up in the sky and it comes back down. And if you use Fly, you'll actually be hit by it sooner than all the other Pokemon. And then it's still going to hit anyway, so if you're on the ground afterwards, it's still going to do damage to you. So don't use Fly when you're using Energy Fall. So I think that's a pretty cool type of attack. And that's it. That's my 10 Pokemon attacks. Tell me what you think if you enjoy this list, and also tell me what kind of Pokemon attacks you'd like to see. I just enjoy the Pokemon battle system and I like thinking over it. So until next time, this is Dedicated Specialist signing off.